who better to introduce today's current event topic other than Pat McAfee from ESPN?
Caitlin Clark will be out for at least 2 weeks. She has a quad strain that has been bugging her since training camp. That stinks for the Fever, obviously. That stinks for our city. That also stinks for the WNBA as a whole. Feels like this year a lot more common sense is kind of settling in. Caitlin Clark is the needle mover. The Indiana Fever are the draw. They're going to be without CC for at least a couple weeks as she rests and tries to heal up a quad strain. That sucks for everybody in the WNBA. It definitely sucks for the Fever here, Ty.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Well, first things first, let's start with who exactly Caitlin Clark is. Caitlin Clark was drafted #1 overall by the Indiana Fever in the 2024 draft. So last year, this is her second year in the WNBA. She went to school at Iowa, and she set all sorts of records for college basketball women's in at Iowa. She set the most points record. She set the most three-pointers record, and she took her team on a deep run into the March Madness tournament, where they were eventually eliminated by LSU, but she turned a lot of heads in college. She brought a lot of attention to the sport in college, and she's, as you can see from this picture, doing something very similarly in the WNBA. This is just also from the Pat McAfee show. It's just a quick chart of the most 20-point 10 assist games in WNBA history. At the top with 10, you see Courtney Vandersloot, 430 games played, 10 of such games. And below, you see Caitlin Clark and Deanna Taurasi, each with 9. However, you see Caitlin Clark only took 41 games to get there. Deanna Taurasi, who's known as the GOAT, greatest of all time in the WNBA, it took her 565 games. So she's doing really well in the WNBA as well. So why is this injury such a big deal? You know, she was injured on May 24th. She's expected to miss 2 weeks, anywhere from 6, 7, 8 games. And she's still currently not playing, according to USA Today. So why is this such a big deal? Well, in her very first game ever with the WNBA, Caitlin Clark played May 14th last year, 2024. She drew a crowd of 2.1 million viewers, according to Time Magazine. And it was making it the most watched WNBA game in 23 years, according to ESPN broadcast. The very next game she played for ABC, she drew a crowd of 1.7 million, and it's the most ever watched WNBA game for ABC. When it comes to ratings before and after her injury, we're going to eliminate the game in which she was injured because she only played half of the game. But according to Yahoo Sports here, the game after, the first game that was played without Caitlin Clark, Indiana Fever versus Connecticut, drew a crowd of 851,000. Most people would think that's a pretty good crowd. You know, it represented a greater than 100% increase in viewership from the same window last year. However, the game before her injury against the Chicago Sky, 2.7 million. So 3 times more viewership when she plays than when she doesn't play. The same goes for the betting industry. You know, ESPN here reporting that the betting interest in Fever games dipped by 50% after the Caitlin Clark injury. Before her injury, she was the odds-on favorite to win MVP. DraftKings, FanDuel, you could bet anywhere that she was going to win the MVP, and she was the favorite. Now, missing 2 weeks, no longer the favorite. Also, when it comes to ticket prices, you know, when Caitlin Clark plays, the tickets are expensive. When she doesn't play, not very expensive. You know, USA Today again reporting that purchase price was 71% more expensive prior to the news that she got hurt. Average ticket prices when she plays, $137. Average ticket prices when she doesn't play, $80. She brings a lot of eyes, a lot of attention to the game. On top of that, you know, there's news being reported that when Caitlin Clark goes on the road, so when she's not playing in Indianapolis, some of these rivals or some of these competing teams have to book larger venues to accommodate the number of people that are coming to the games to see her. The ticket prices are inflated. They're playing larger stadiums. She brings a lot of eyes and a lot of attention to the sport. So why is that a big deal? Well, for those who don't know, the WNBA for many, many years has not been a profitable organization. In 2024, they're reporting that this is Sports Pros. Sports Pros is reporting that there was a loss of $40 million, not profitable for the WNBA. A lot of people projected that this year was going to be the first profitable year for the WNBA because of the attention that Caitlin Clark has brought to the sport, which allows more people to watch it across the sport. So, all that being said, I think it's pretty clear the impact that she had on the sport. Going back to the Pat McAfee, you know, introduction, it says, he claims that it's the WNBA's worst nightmare. And I agree. The amount of attention she brings, the ticket sales, the viewership, and the betting potential. A lot of these companies now, both the team, the betting companies, and ESPN, ABC, the media companies, they rely on eyes to make profits, including the WNBA. And without her there for the next 2 weeks, I think a lot of people are going to see a large impact on the number of people going to the games, the number of people watching the games, and the interest in betting on the games as well.